Now, I'm going back maybe about 14 years, and I was working with Peter Diamandis. We were actually doing something called the X Prize experience. And this was through a lot of Peter's experiences and connections in order to get a group of people together and show them some of the most fascinating new technology that was available. We took them over to the spaceport. We took them down to the MGM Studios. We took them down to up to Silicon Valley, up to Tesla. We took them all over the place, down in San Diego, showing them just immense new technology. I actually finished off at SpaceX down in Hawthorne, which is still Elon Musk's SpaceX major plant. And during this experience, we got to look after, cater, and make sure that the attendees of this event were well looked after, well catered for. And there was probably, I think, 40 main individuals. They brought a partner, they brought a wife or something. So, 60 to 80 people in grand total. But we had like a main core there. And I got to know a lot of them over the 3-day experience. During that experience, I ended up speaking to an older Indian gentleman and got on very well with him, and we chatted and we told jokes over dinner and over a drink and stuff like that, and over the 3 days. And then the end day came and we were down in SpaceX, and it turned out that he had to get off. Now, a lot of these people, the standard of people we're dealing with, most of them had private jets, and there was a private jet place right close to SpaceX. In fact, it was right on the edge of it. And so this airport was hosting one of the planes there for the Indian gentleman that I've been speaking with. And so it got to the point where he had to leave and get over there. And I said to him, look, I don't want to be funny with you, but I got my truck, and I was doing a lot of motocross at the time. So I had this Ford F-150 truck, and it was outside. And I said, look, I got this Ford F-150 truck out back, out front. If you don't mind, throw your bags in the back of there and I'll trundle you over to the airport myself. He was like, oh, thank you very much. So he piles in the passenger seat. He had a colleague with him. He shoved his cases in the back of my truck. Luckily, I'd hosed out the truck earlier. And I drove him down the road to the private airstrip. He gets his stuff out, says hi, says bye, thanks a lot, all this kind of stuff. We exchanged emails, we exchanged phone numbers, and I got chatting with him a little bit further after that. About 3 years later, I was up in San Francisco, and I was at this hotel, and this gentleman walks past me, and I'm like, I know that face. Excuse me, I know you. And there was a bodyguard there, and the bodyguard, as what bodyguards should do, he was alert. And I was like, hey, I'm not. And luckily, the gentleman recognized me. We got chatting, and I said to him, I've been meaning to ask you. I've been looking at a few things, and I just started chatting with him. I recognized that he was successful. I recognized that he was in the right room. So I knew he would be the kind of person I needed to ask. So I asked a couple of questions. He stopped, gave me the answers, followed up after that with a couple of emails, and everything was really good. The gentleman's name was Ratan Tata, one of the wealthiest men in the planet, and sadly, a man that we lost recently. Now, what encouraged me and what really got me amazed with this man was his ability to communicate and his desire to want to answer my questions. I would literally say, how would you do this? And what would you do on this? And in this situation, what would be your first thought, conflict, your ceiling? What would you see about this opportunity to me? And he wanted to answer, and he wanted to engage me in the conversation, quite simply, not for money. And this guy owned a Jaguar, Tetley, steel companies, banks. He owned so much all over the planet. Look him up, one of the wealthiest, most powerful men in the planet, but an entrepreneur that wanted to create impact. Now, I've been very much blessed to actually be around a lot of those people. I mentioned Peter Diamandis, dear friend, one of those people, exactly the same. You ask him a question, he's going to answer that question. But you know who don't answer those questions? Imposters. You see, they don't want to give you the information because they don't have it. They go into that room because they've just leased a car or, got their credit card spanked out to afford a watch. They don't have the juice you need. You see, the first sign of a successful person is whether or not they will take the time to answer your question. And trust me, every successful entrepreneur I've ever met wants nothing more than for you to be successful. You're not stealing that wind. You're not stealing that business. You're helping the world grow with creativity, energy, passion, and disruption. So the next time you ask someone a question, if they falter, if they flail on you, if they look at you and go, oh, you wouldn't understand, they're not the person you should be asking that question to. The only people that imposter syndrome doesn't affect is imposters. The people that really want to help you, they're the successful people. Do not be frightened to ask them, because trust me, they want to help you. I had a great experience with Ratan, and I want you to go out and I want you to ask people, how would you do this? And start building up a circle of people that will challenge you, help you, assist you, grow you into the person that you want to be. And again, as Joe Polish always used to say, the definition of hell is to meet the man or woman you could have been. Start taking that chance now.